It was 3 years in the making, but now the U.S. and China has a trade deal signed, the first phase at least. Baby steps were made among leaders of two of the world's most powerful economies after some back-and-forth tariff placements. As far as Washington's top economist is concerned, the signed trade pact is a good start to push further trade negotiations.
Nothing like this has ever happened before in history. This is a really widespread, and the fact that it happened is historic. And I think it's the best deal. I think it's a terrific deal.
But the trade war is not over. A wider scope of negotiations on tariffs will be ironed out in Phase 2, which U.S. President Donald Trump says will happen immediately after Phase 1 signing. Trump says tariffs will come off as soon as Phase 2 is finished.
We're going to be starting Phase 2 as soon as this kicks in. We'll be starting Phase 2. We're leaving tariffs on, which people are shocked, but it's great. But I will agree to take those tariffs off if we are able to do Phase 2. In other words, we're negotiating with the tariffs.
But it all depends on adherence, as Kudlow says, meaning it's either China keeps its word on or else we'd see another stalemate in the trade war saga.
Much of the success of Phase 2 is going to depend on the success of Phase 1. So if the agreements are accommodated and adhered to, I think he's absolutely right about that. I don't want to predict about future tariffs and so forth. You know, you take these things one brick at a time.
One question that lingers, though, is will China make good on this deal? While for Kyle Bass, founder and CIO of Heyman Capital Management, probably not. That's what he told Bloomberg's Vonnie Quinn and Guy Johnson on Bloomberg Markets.
You know right now that you can't trust the Chinese as far as you can throw them. They haven't lived up to one agreement they've ever signed. So do you have a sense of optimism that they signed something that's potentially measurable and enforceable? I think you have a slight sense of optimism. Are you convinced that you can, quote, take this to the bank? I think you'd have to be foolish to say that you think the Chinese are going to live up to this agreement.